Hey guys, it's Saru, and it's been an incredible 2023 so far. All of January, we've seen a lot of content that's been coming out, either for myself, hey guys, it's Saru, or just generally speaking about how many cool games are coming out this year. So I created a list not so long ago, and by that I mean like, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, about all of the MMORPGs or MMO sort of genre games that are going to be coming out this year, either in alpha, beta, or officially as a launch, in the sense that players can actually get in and play the game one way or another. So I'm gonna have this video be as brief as possible and give you guys the top 30 MMOs that are coming out later this year. So, let's get right into it. So quickly before I begin, if you're into rock music, indie music, maybe alternative or metal music, I have another channel dedicated to just music, and I started something called the 60-second cover series. So there I'm covering any song from pretty much any genre, unless I just really don't want to do it, and then covering it for 60 seconds in a way that I would as best as I can in about an hour, with all the production stuff that I can do as best as possible. Usually this means using an instrumental that's already available, or creating one myself, either by removing the vocals with AI, or literally creating one from scratch. From there, regardless of how the vocals turn out, whether they're on point or not, after the 1 hour mark, it's done and I just post it, and the comments get to decide whether or not I get to continue and make a full cover of it, and maybe possibly release it on things like Spotify and iTunes. So if you're interested, go check that out. Alright, so yes, you did hear me correctly. I said 30 MMOs that are going to be coming out later this year. Now again, this is either going to be in the sense of an actual full release, beta, alpha, early testing phase, or something, basically an MMO that you can actually try out this year. So I'm going to try to do this as best as I can in order, but more than likely that's not going to happen because quite frankly, I did not organize this whatsoever. Alright, so let's just dive right in. Wouldn't it be funny if I just gave you all the names like quickly and that was the end of the video? So first up is Fractured Veil. Now, Fractured Veil is more of a survival MMO. I guess if you've played games like 7 Days to Die, that probably would kind of be in the same genre. So this takes place in Hawaii, where you get to play alone or with other players. There's crafting, gathering, questing, raiding, and it offers things like day and night cycles, similar to, again, 7 Days to Die. So this is going to be a 64 square kilometer map that anyone can just join in and play with a dynamic weather system. And right now, there's not exactly a set date that's going to be coming out, although it was delayed because the initial release date was going to be last year in 2022. So it's very likely it's going to be coming out later this year, most likely as an early access game, and platform wise it's only going to be available on Steam, so on PC. Palia. So Palia was one of the first game I covered on my website at Sarumonin.com, and I think like a lot of people didn't really know about it, and then it started taking off and I just kind of went away because other people had it handled, I guess. Not a really healthy mentality, especially if you're a content creator, but nonetheless, that's basically what happened. Now, Palia is more of a social MMORPG, so if you want to think of Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, which by the way, this game is greatly inspired by those games, it's going to be an open world high fantasy MMORPG. There is some combat, but it's not going to be the high focus. It's mostly going to be about community building. So if you like The Sims, if you like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, this game is probably going to be for you. Right now, they're getting ready for their next playtest, so they just got out of Alpha 2, I think it was in July of 2022, and then they had a weekend playtest back in November of 2022 as well. So apparently development has gone very well, and they're kind of confident that either this year or next year, players can probably get in one way or another to play the game. But if you really want to get into the game to kind of test it out and try it out with everybody else, you can sign up right now, and there's a possibility there that you'll be able to play the game with a weekend test. There's probably going to be an NDA, so you won't be able to cover it necessarily. Next up is Blue Protocol. So we do know that's coming out in the second half of 2023. There's been recently a delay in the network test that was going to happen in Japan, so that kind of delays us a little bit over in the West because they're doing a global release. So Amazon hasn't said anything about this publicly, so anywhere that's front end, such as press releases or news, and for the Amazon Games content creator program, there hasn't been any information for Blue Protocol right now. So all we know is that there's going to be some information relatively soon, and that in March there's going to be a closed beta test in the Japanese version instead of the network test that's going to be happening in February 2023 after it was postponed. So I have talked a little bit about Blue Protocol on my channel, so if you're interested, you can check around my channel, and there's going to be some information on Blue Protocol there. Ashes of Creation. So yes, Ashes of Creation is definitely not going to be coming out this year. However, there will be an alpha or beta later this year, so there's a very likely chance that players will be able to be invited in one way or another, and if you've already bought a founder pack of sorts, you'll be able to go in and probably try out the game. So far, there has not been any testing this month, and there hasn't been any announcements in regards to testing just yet, but I do know that Intrepid Studios and Steve and Sharif are very passionate about trying to get players involved with feedback and trying to get things running things, so there's a very high chance that players will be able to see the game a little bit more later this year. Plus, if you want to keep updated, you can go to the Ashes of Creation YouTube channel or their website, where they have brand new videos pretty much every week or every month, updating everybody on the development process and everything about that. Throne and Liberty. So Throne and Liberty has been confirmed time and time again that it's going to be coming out in the first half of 2023. There hasn't necessarily been any information in regards to who's going to be the publisher for the game just yet, but all chances kind of point to NCSoft West, and I kind of dived into the information that it was available. However, in February, there's going to be a brand new investors report, so we should very likely be seeing brand new information very soon. Plus, right now, they're inviting absolutely anybody in South Korea to sign up for the final testing phase, which is going to happen on February. So if you live over there or you have an account that for some reason is over there, then you will be able to sign up. And all of that information can be found on my website at sarumonin.com, where I translated all the information that you need to know about this upcoming test. Starkeepers. So Starkeepers is a hero-based action combat MMO. So it's set in a mythological epic fantasy world. I haven't talked about this in the past, but this game is being developed and published by Wolfpack Games, and there will be a lot of activities in this brand new MMORPG where you can build your own fortress. There will be PvP such as dueling, as well as something called the Starkeep Siege. So graphically, it's a little more unique to what we're used to as an MMORPG, but if this is something you're interested in, you can wishlist it right now on Steam, or learn more about the game at starkeepers.com. Dune Awakening. So Dune Awakening has not really been given a date, but we do know it's coming out later this year. So right now I'm kind of focusing on the games that haven't really been given a date just yet. So I have spoken about Dune Awakening before. This is an open world survival MMO similar to Conan Exiles or Ark, which coincidentally with Conan Exiles, it's being created by the same people, so Funcom. So if you're a fan of the Dune movies or the books, then this is probably the MMO for you, where you can play with others, fight with others, create shelters or fortresses, craft absolutely anything from weapons, armor, vehicles, attachments, modifications, and pretty much anything at this point, and live in an open world version of Arrakis. Soulframe. So Soulframe is being created by Digital Extremes, which was announced last year at TennoCon 2022, and it will be a free-to-play open-world MMORPG. One thing about this game that players should know is that it's not going to be like Warframe, although it is kind of in the same spirit. Warframe was more hub-based, similar to like Destiny, where this is going to be more of like an open-world experience. Even though it is called Soulframe, it should not be regarded as a sequel or anything in relation to Warframe, other than maybe like a sister to the game, as the developer has described that themselves. So I have been informed that there is a high probability that this year there is going to be some testing phases that players can go out and try out the game if they really want to. So it is a little bit of a code for the website over there at soulframe.com. So this is the code if you want to get in. It's these letters, so kind of just pause right now if you really want to go and sign up right now. Use these codes, click on this thing right here after you're done, then you'll be able to scroll down and sign up with your email and reserve your name for when the game does come out. Ark 2. So I know that Ark is a very popular game, and it's not necessarily an MMORPG, but I mean it does kind of take the approach of an open world survival MMORPG sort of, with a quest line and lots of dinosaurs that can probably destroy you. Plus the sequel will have Vin Diesel, so if you're a fan of the group, man, this is definitely going to be the game for you. However, unlike its predecessor, it will not be on the PlayStation, so it will be exclusive to the Xbox Series X and S, and it'll be available on Steam for PC, obviously, or the Windows platform, which is not the greatest. Archeage 2. So Archeage 2 is currently deep in development right now. Again, this is also an MMO that I have spoken about on this channel. It is going to be an Unreal Engine 5 MMORPG that's going to be open world and take a brand new experience to the Archeage realm. So right now the expected launch date for the game is going to be 2024. However, I have been informed that if there are no delays, there should be a possible alpha that's going to be available later this year that players can go in and just try out the game. Now for this MMORPG, if you're not necessarily sure what platforms they're going to be on, it's going to be on PC, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5. Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. This game has been in development since I was born. Not really, it's been in development for a very long time, but even though they are actively in an alpha phase right now to make sure that the game does come out just wonderfully, I know there is a big hype for this game, just as there is with Ashes of Creation. However, even though that back in March 2022, Pantheon was in the pre-alpha testing phase, some sources have informed me that if everything goes well and there are no delays this year, there should be a possible alpha for players to test out and see if it's for them. However, to get into the alpha, it's fairly slim since they do offer pledge packages, and if you're crazy enough, it's $750 if you want to get into the pre-alpha testing phase, or the alternative of $250 a month for 3 months. Chrono Odyssey. So Chrono Odyssey is a mystery because it came out the gates swinging with an amazing CGI. However, ever since its announcement back in December 2020, and even though we were told pretty much all the details about it, that it was going to be created by NPixel, the engine was going to be Unreal Engine 4, and that it was going to be coming out on PC, consoles, and mobile, well. Nothing has necessarily been said since about the game, so if by some reason we get to December and there hasn't been any information whatsoever about this game, it will have been about 3 years since no information has been shared about the game whatsoever, much like the last 4 months in Swords of Legends Online when we have been told absolutely nothing. Into the Echo. So Into the Echo is a brand new MMORPG that's going to be coming out on PC and consoles, and it's being built in Unreal Engine 5. I have talked a little bit about this from when it was first announced, and they did have some pre-alpha testing last year that was completely NDA, and I was able to test it out, and even though I can't really talk about it, it was an interesting experience. So right now, interested players can create an account, and if they really want to try out the game, they can do so by signing up for the newsletter, and I would suggest joining their Discord, because usually they have some giveaways for people to get access into the pre-alpha or the alpha phase. So this year is definitely gonna have some alpha testing for the game, but the game's definitely not coming out this year, but it will be coming out sometime in the next 10 years, very likely. So if you're interested in testing the game, at least that will be available for you for sure. Bellatores. So Bellatores is an Unreal Engine 5 PvP MMORPG, and we have zero information about this game whatsoever, but they have been saying that it was either going to release in 2022 or 2023, because obviously now we're in 2023 and the game has not been released. There is very little information about this game whatsoever. There is absolutely no website or anything about it, but what we do know is that the MMO has been in development since early 2019, when it was originally called Project N1, which people can look up if you really want to, and it's being led by the former CEO of NCSoft Taiwan, one of the co-founders of XL Games, so if you're a fan of Archeage and like PTSD, and the ex-managing director of Blizzard Korea. But if you at least want a website or information, you can go to nuinc.com, so that is where the official website for the game studio is, and there's not a lot of information there either, but what we do know is that they're only going to be focusing on PC, at least for now. There is no information whatsoever about console on their website, so if you're interested in Bellatores, unfortunately an MMORPG does take about 7 years to be created, and if development did start in early 2019, I fear we'll not see any information about it until 2025, but they did announce that the game was going to be coming out last year, so there is a very high likely chance that there's going to be at least some type of testing phase later this year. But for Bellatores, it's completely speculation, so I'm not confirming for anything in regards to this game about whether it's coming out or not, but I have reached out to the developers and hopefully I'll have some information, and if I do, I'll create a video on it. Mad World. So Mad World is going to be an HTML5 browser MMORPG that's completely open world and allows you to team up with other players to do quests, raiding, dungeons, basically the full MMORPG experience, and it's completely hand-drawn. If you're interested, I have an entire video about what this game's about and all the information about the classes and how it works, and there are going to be various testing phases for it this year if you're interested in playing the game. Profane. So I have not heard a lot of people talk about this, and I do have a community member over on my Discord that has been talking about this game because this brand new MMORPG is being created by a Brazilian studio, and that usually doesn't happen, but it is a sandbox MMORPG that's completely dynamic and has sort of a Sea of Thieves kind of vibe to it in terms of the graphic, I guess, at least for now. So I haven't talked about this game yet because there hasn't really been any gameplay just yet, but there are some development videos about them creating islands and stuff like that. So it is going to be a skill-based action combat similar to Terra in the sense of just freely attacking as much as you can, focusing on the player's skills. They're emphasizing on having no boundaries whatsoever, where there are no classes or levels, but rather you improve your proficiency for your character as you perform them. But when the time comes and there's gameplay and more information about it, I definitely will create a video on it dedicated to just the game. But right now they're in the early stages of alpha, so if you are interested in signing up, you can sign up for the closed alpha that's going to be coming out later this year and try out the game for yourselves. There has been previous alpha tests and combat tests, but they have all been kind of an NDA, so you can't really talk about them or film them or anything. But if you're interested in it, you can go to profanemmo.com. City of Titans. So if you were a fan of City of Heroes, which was pretty much like a superhero-based MMORPG that players can go out and just live out their Superman dreams, City of Titans is the spiritual successor for that. So they've been in development since I believe 2013, and there's been a lot of updates and information for the game since it's being created in Unreal Engine 5, at least now. Previously, it was being built in Unreal Engine 4, but in October 2022, they did announce that they will be switching over to Unreal Engine 5, and they have already been switching actually. So if you're interested in being a superhero in an open world MMORPG, then this might be the game for you, and you can find more information at cityoftitans.com. Plains of Pain. So this game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where you have absolutely no money. There's no gold, there's no money where you necessarily have in this game that you kind of farm. Instead, you have things to barter. So if you have rusty nails or shiny spoons or something, that is what you barter with to kind of get value in this game. So even though you do have your own private lobbies that you can play, they do have their own peer-to-peer network which will provide online multiplayer. So if a large amount of players wants to be in a public server, they can be. If they want to have in a private or a friends only lobby, they can do that as well. And the whole world map is 100 square kilometers. So if you're interested, it is on Steam. Again, it's called Plains of Pain. Planned to be coming out in early access for February 2023. The Day Before. So this game has a lot of controversy. This is also an open world MMO survival game that's set in a post-pandemic America, I guess, that's overran by zombies. I don't think I need to talk about this game very much because I think everybody pretty much knows this game because it's an Unreal Engine 5 game, which looks absolutely amazing. But even though they were originally going to be releasing in March 2023, unfortunately just recently they had to delay the game for a few months, so it's going to be coming out on November 10th, 2023 for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam. Clashing Blades. So Clashing Blades is not something I necessarily wanted to talk about, but it is an MMORPG, so I feel like I have to. So Clashing Blades Online is an upcoming MMORPG that uses more of a classic graphic style. If anyone's ever played Sherwood, at least I think that's what the name of the game was just years ago, it basically has that kind of aesthetic, maybe just a tiny bit better than RuneScape. Unfortunately, this is a play-to-earn MMORPG, so it uses the Leica currency tokens, and these particular tokens can only be used within the Ethyrial universe, which is pretty much what developers calling for every single one of their own games. So every game that they have created kind of uses the same token that can be used. So if in one game you earn certain tokens or whatever, you can kind of use it on the other one. But it's coming out in March 2023. I don't know, but I'm moving on. Immortal God Online. So this is what it's translated to, but I don't actually know what it's actually going to be called. But it is available on Steam, and there is absolutely no English supported. But if you're interested in a Chinese MMORPG, I'm not going to whatsoever give you the website, because if I did, you would be scrambling. But well, let's give it a try. So it's xxsycjb.wan.360.cn. That is their website, but it is going to be coming out on March 21st, 2023. Like I said, it's not going to be in English whatsoever. It will be available on Steam, so if you're interested, you can go over to the website that I just said, or just copy paste the name, which is going to be in the description below on this timestamp. The Blocky Ages. So this game is different because it was originally called The Blocky Ages, and I guess they've changed it to Ethereal Echoes of Yore. So if you're a fan of older style MMORPGs in terms of graphics, then this might definitely be for you. It's an open world MMORPG that's based on the old school hardcore kind of qualities that MMORPGs used to have. There's a stat system similar to RuneScape, so you can learn stats, let's say woodworking. There will be dungeons that are instants, there are going to be raids, there's going to be different challenges and bosses and world bosses and so on and so forth. And the cool thing about this that I feel like a lot of MMOs don't do, in fact I don't think any MMO does this anymore, is that it has a one-of-a-kind loot system. So if let's say there's like a super rare shield that drops from a turtle boss, for example, and they only drop 200. Once that 200 is met, it will never drop it again. So the only way to get that item again, if you start out late or whatever, is by trading the item, stealing the item, or killing the player that has the item. But if you're interested, you can go over to etherealmmo.com and all the information will be available there. Heroic City. So Heroic City is, I don't know if it's necessarily an MMORPG, but it's MMOE, I guess. I don't really know how to really explain it. But if you've ever played PlayStation Home, Second Life, or even Roblox, I guess, this is basically an alternate version of that. So it's a social hub MMO, I guess you can call it, but the game, or as they're calling it, the gaming hub, is going to be completely crossplay between all consoles, mobile devices, and PC. So pretty much it's a big old social hub, and players get to decide what the developer is going to create. So if they want to create a specific type of game for the game, kind of like, let's call it like a strange version of a metaverse, they will do it and create it, and then players can just play that together as much as they want. So they do call it the Impactverse, so it's kind of like a metaverse, but so far it has nothing to do with crypto. So if that's what kind of was swaying you away, it has nothing to do with that. So you can go over to the website, like I said, you can sign up for the beta right now, and you can try out the game this year, and it should be coming out in May 2023. Bloodlust Online. So Bloodlust Online is a gothic horror roguelite MMO that's set in the 18th century. It has almost like an old Mega Man vibe to it, or even like if you had like the original Game Boy kind of graphics. So the main influence for this game is the Castlevania series. So just in terms of like the settings, the castles, the creatures and everything are all inspired, and you can kind of tell in the game when you start playing it. So everyone in this game is an android vampire. Don't ask me how that works, but it just works. You will have familiars, or let's say companions, such as pets that are robotic. You can use tarot cards to summon them and just have them shoot other people, I guess. So yeah, there's going to be dungeons and stuff like that. So if you're interested, that is available on Steam, and it's created by the Brazilian studio IndigoWare. And again, if you're interested, that's going to be coming out on July 3rd, 2023. Beetle Elf. So I feel like the more I get into this list, like the stranger the names get. But anyways, this game, you get to play as a cute mini elf that you are going to be starting up in a city. You are tiny as heck, and each city can accommodate 4,000 players simultaneously. So this MMORPG is incredibly unique because, first of all, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. Why am I making this video? But as a mini elf, you have certain objectives. One is to capture, one is to cultivate, and one is to direct. You want to capture a variety of world-renowned beetles in the game. Could think of it as Pokemon, I guess. And these beetles have a 3-stage growth process, similar again to Pokemon, where, you know, Pikachu turns to Raichu and then Raichu into whatever. Maybe I got that wrong, I don't know, I haven't played Pokemon in decades. And you can team up with other players and your own beetles to fight powerful bosses, which are usually insect related, for gear and harvesting and what have you. If you're interested in this, it comes out on July 3rd, 2023, and I'm gonna go and move on to the next game. War of Dragnorox. So this game's a little strange because I thought it was called Morgath for some reason, but that might be the world. I don't know. I really did not organize this video whatsoever. So World of Dragnorox is a dynamic warfare MMORPG. So right now you can sign up for the beta. You can play. The game is supposed to be coming out in September 2023. It's only gonna be on Steam as far as I'm aware. The game will have various events such as wars, carnivals, holiday events, dragon attacks that just decide to swoop down and destroy towns, town raids actually, quests, and so on and so forth. This game is very strange. There's absolutely not going to be any cash shop, no XP boost, no cosmetic, or any game item. Ever. I don't know how they're going to make money out of this, but what they're saying is that they believe in the purity of gameplay. Absolutely no cash shop exists in World of Dragnorox. Nothing. No pre-order bonuses, no cosmetics, no accomplishments or anything that you can purchase. Nothing. Anything that is in relation to cosmetics, visuals, gears, and so on and so forth is only going to be earned in-game, and there's not going to be any exception to it whatsoever during the lifetime of War of Dragnorox. I am reading this off their website, by the way, at warofdragnorox.com. So if you're interested, which I just realized that Morgath is the world name. I guess if I had researched this before recording, I probably would have figured that one out. But the game is coming out in September 2023, and if you'd like to sign up for the beta, you can go over to the website like I already mentioned. You can also wishlist it on Steam. EVOCADI, or avocado. I swear the more I get into this list, like, they're just the strangest names. Anyways, EVOCADI, I have no idea if that's what it's called, like, I don't fucking know anymore. Before making this video, I literally thought this was about being a tank, like a literal military tank, and you go and upgrade and do stuff and things. But no, apparently you have your own military soldier that you create, and it's an open world MMO with NPCs. You'll have land, sea, and air vehicles that you can collect. You can deal with the economic and political part of the game as well. You can look for natural resources and exploit them if you really want to, which this is feeling like a very strong political statement. Going to be a faction system. There's going to be seasons with day and night cycles and weather systems as well. Voice proximity, which has never stirred anyone wrong. Just look in Modern Warfare 2. Clan system, so if you want to create a guild, as well as an association or alliance, or I guess coalition system that you can create with multiple other guilds or clans rather. So if you're interested, it is on Steam. It will be coming out on November 10th, 2023. However, you can sign up for the playtest to play even earlier this year at evocadi.com. Cyber War Apocalypse. So this is an open world, first person, third person, survival, horror MMO kind of game. Again, if you've played 7 Days to Die, this is kind of like that. There's zombies. There'll be a bunch of exploration. So if you want to go with your friend, or you want to go with a bunch of friends, you want to deal with NPCs, you want to drive vehicles and do whatever. Basically an open world survival game that we all pretty much know. So if you play DayZ, this is pretty much kind of like that. So that comes out on November 17th, 2023. There are no betas that at least I'm aware of, and I didn't find a website because I didn't look for it and it wasn't on Steam, and I've already been talking for almost 2 hours. And lastly, that's right, we finally got to the end of the list. I could have made a video on like Legends of Equestria. Jesus. That's a game, by the way, if you're interested. That's a My Little Pony free-to-play MMORPG. You know what, let's just add it to the list. Legends of Equestria. If you are a My Little Pony fan, there is a free-to-play MMORPG right now that's an open access, which is the strangest way to say open beta or whatever. You can go out and try it out right now. The game's not out yet, it's not launched, but anyone can go in and try it out and help with development. You can learn more at legendsofequestria.com. Okay, Remote Knights Online. This one comes out in December 2023. It's a faction-based open-world MMORPG with survival elements. which I feel like that's literally this whole year, just surviving. I feel like everyone got inspired by the pandemic and said, hey, we survived. So you have multiplayer, you have a single player mode if you really want to, or you have your self-hosted mode if you really want that, like creating your own server and so on and so forth. You have faction PvP, co-op, PvE, you have day and night cycles with a weather system. There's world bosses, quests, player bounties, creatures to kill, crafting, and so on and so forth. Just think Ark, but kind of looks like Chivalry. That's what this game is. So if you're interested, that comes out on December 22nd, 2023. It is available on Steam, and I will mention one more game, which technically makes this list 31. To be fair, I wasn't going to include Legends of Equestria. Like, I don't know why I did, but it's an MMO, so it makes the list. I literally did not plan for that to be in the video, but it is now. Anyways, World of Jade Dynasty. For some strange reason, I keep calling it World of Jade Fantasy. I don't understand what is wrong with me. I literally said it 3 times in this video. You can't hear it because I cut it out, but World of Jade Dynasty. So World of Jade Dynasty is a sequel to the Jade Dynasty MMORPG that released back in like 2007 or something like that. And I have talked about it a little bit before, I think in August 2022, and it's a brand new free-to-play MMORPG that's completely built in Unreal Engine 4. I have a bunch of information about this game if you really want to know more about it on my Discord, and luckily we have somebody called Tora who has been helping absolutely everybody ever since Swords of Legends, and they are collecting absolutely every information they can about this game. So this game has no release date yet. I have contacted Gearbox Publishing, or Perfect World Entertainment as they used to be called, about more information about this game, but I have not received any information just yet about it. So there's already been testing already about this game, and there's even more testing coming for this game this year. So I'm not necessarily sure when the game will come out. It's very likely that it might come out later this year or next year, but you can definitely try it out this year. Alright guys, that is 31 MMOs that are coming out in 2023. If any more come out, I swear to God, I am probably only going to make this type of video like once a year. Which game are you guys excited for? Let me know in the comments below, and I will probably reply if I'm not passed out. I'm super excited to see that there's so many games coming out. And I mean, I didn't even mention the single player games that are coming out this year as well, and some of the cool games like Dead Island 2, for example. Also, if you're interested, the game studio that I'm working at Challengers Games, we are announcing our game title finally later today, and we're going to be showing a little bit of gameplay to our Discord audience and on our website at challengersgames.com. So if you're into third person or first person shooter games with an anime look, with a kind of MOBA thing going like Smite or Paladins, is probably the best comparison I could probably give it, or Overwatch, and go check us out. Alright guys, that's it for me. My throat hurts, so I'm gonna edit this video now. Yep. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable f***ing bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends.